Zoetis shares tumbling today on the back of first quarter earnings. This comes despite the animal health company beating Wall Street expectations and hitting its best quarterly revenue growth ever, up 22%. Joining us now for a First on CNBC interview is Kristin Peck, Zoetis CEO. Welcome back to the show, Kristin. Good to see you.
Thanks so much for having me, Sarah. It's great to be here, especially for our best quarter ever.
So these results were really driven by the companion animal trend that we've been talking about, and that is everyone going out and adopting pets. How sustainable is that? Where does that go?
Sure. No, we were really pleased with the quarter. We grew 21% on the top line. That was driven, primarily, as you noted, by our companion animal business, which grew 34%. Our livestock business also grew 8%. And what was really great to see in the companion animals side was just how much that growth was driven across so many different categories. So great strength in our paras portfolio, which was only about 34% of the company. Our pet care, which is about 34% of the company when we IPO'd, that's now 55%. And parasiticides has been one of our biggest growth categories for us. So we're really excited. That's now 16% of the company. Strong growth in dermatology. So that was around 24%, as well as launching some new MABs. And what you were talking about with regards of many more people adopting pets, spending more time with their pets. And the spend per visit was up 10% in the quarter, which has been a consistent theme for us. And we see this as a really sustainable growth trajectory for us for the company with, continued growth in the pet care side, because more and more of these people adopting pets are millennials and Gen Z, and they're predisposed to be spending more on their pets and spending more time with their pets.
My millennial sister would agree with you. What about livestock? You mentioned that it grew overall, but in the U.S. it was down. Is that correlated with returning to restaurants and eating out? Where does that go?
Sure. I think as you look at livestock globally, it grew 8%. But to your point, it did decline in the U.S., but grew internationally. It's important to note in our livestock business that 60% of our livestock is outside of the U.S., which is why you saw the overall growth for us, but the decline in the U.S. And the U.S., really, the decline was really driven mostly by poultry and swine, and, some really specific factors with regards to, rotations off our products in poultry, et cetera. But we are going to see continued pressure in the U.S. livestock side as we have the loss of exclusivity of one of our biggest products in livestock, Draxxin. That as we look at the second half of the year, you'll see, a little more of a drag there. But really exciting growth, as you saw, overall 8% growth in livestock. And that's primarily driven by growth in China and growth in Brazil. And in growth in China, our swine business there was up 128%. And that's 3 quarters with that business being up 100% or more. So, and really great growth in Brazil as well.
You mentioned, Kristin, the strong growth in China and Brazil, largely because of livestock. What about pet trends internationally outside of the U.S.? Are they matching the trends you're seeing here, or are they a bit behind?
So it's a great question. We really see 3 growth trends that we think are sustainable beyond 2021 and 2022. The first, obviously, is the pet care trend. And that's really the growth in our parasiticides, our derm, our MABs. But if you look at international, to what you're referencing there, well, you see growth in China in the quarter of 75%, growth in Brazil of 48%. And what's really interesting about that is there's significant growth in both livestock and companion animal. So as you look at China, although I just referenced before the growth in swine, we saw about 59% growth in our companion animal business in China with really good growth. There's a lot of cats. We got approval of Revolution Plus there. So we're seeing that as well. Really great growth in Brazil in Simparic, which is our Simparica product in Brazil. So, the third great trend is diagnostics. And what's great about all of these is they're mutually reinforcing. As, international grows, our pet care grows, we bring new products. Those new products and increased relevance in the pet care clinic helps us with our diagnostics as well. So we're quite excited that we've got a number of sustainable growth drivers that you saw have really good strength for us in the quarter, but we think are sustainable not just in 2021, but in 2022 and beyond.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.